missed it. I just missed it by that much.
No, that was on purpose.
Critical role. Critical role. The adventure is here. The geeks are. I don't know. I couldn't think.
Are you trying to sing that live?
I was going to, but I'm not going to because we are live now. And
live.
Geeks with Kids, always starting off on a strong footing. Joining me today, David and Hawk. How's it going, guys?
Hey, it's going okay.
I'm great when I interrupt you during the intro so that the intro is all fucked up.
I love it.
It's on brand.
It is. As someone who interrupts the GM while we're trying to play D&D, I understand why your motives.
Mm-hmm. I am revenge motivated. That's correct. Yes.
Speaking of GMs, we're talking about Critical Role's Vox Machina, the second season, which just finished last Friday. That's what we're talking here today, because goddamn, it was good. And
it was very good.
And I'm pretty sure 2 out of 3 of us kickstarted that animated series.
Yeah, I've got like dice and a hat and everything.
I wish I got the dice and the hat and the little like plushie and stuff.
I didn't get the plushie.
I know Britt did, but yeah.
I'm a 34-year-old man. I don't need plushies. I'm good. I need hard plastic figures is what I need.
That's why I got a 3D printer. And that's why Harcroft has one, right? So that you could have.
Yeah, that's why my brother bought a 3D printer. So he would print things for me. Like, that's a fringe benefit, but that's not why.
I do appreciate that Hawk has joined in on the Vox Machina. Like, we got him to watch it last season, coming in as a total noob, and now you very much enjoyed it. At least you did the first season, and we'll find out what the second season holds for you. But before that, let's do what's good. What's good? I'm gonna go with Dave. Dave, what's good?
Oh shit. Fuck shit.
What's good is our weekly little thing where we talk about weekly our little segment where we talk about the things that we're really enjoying right now. It could be anything really.
Well, we finished Valheim. We killed the last boss that's out right now,
which was not that hard.
No, it was probably one of the better bosses.
It was fun though. It was really fun.
And I'm so glad because I'm so done mining and not mining, but like just so done farming constantly.
I liked farming.
If the server's open, you go farm to your heart's content. But so we're playing Back 4 Blood again.
Yes,
and, we're gonna beat it again. Because there's been 3 expansions basically since the last time we played, and it's been great. Everyone else has to rebuild everything because everyone else has it on Steam now instead of
Game Pass.
Actually, well, Joe Smoley has it on one of my friends. He has it on PlayStation now instead of Game Pass, so he's playing on his PS5, and you guys moved from Xbox Game Pass on PC to Steam. Mm-hmm. So it's funny. It's like this game is great. It's got everything. The one downside is that it doesn't have what Eric just pulls out a comically large Medieval Times cup, and we're not going to comment on that. We're just going to just like oversized goblet.
I wanted the bigger one, but they didn't have it.
I'm supposed to just like not laugh.
Do they call that a tankard?
No,
because it's a glass.
Oh, sorry, I didn't.
It's so tall.
It is, but it's fancy.
What the hell? That's like a giant's wine glass.
That's a pimp cup.
That's the cup. That's the cup. That at the end of Indiana Jones, if you pick that one, your hair turns purple. I've
chosen poorly. No,
you've chosen mediocrely.
They had so many. Like we went for my friend Mallory was the queen at Medieval Times in Toronto. Remember, Dave, we were going to go for your birthday.
I remember that we did not go for my birthday.
Yeah, unfortunately, we should go again. Hawk, you definitely should come with us. We're gonna go when Brittany comes up this year. So
cool. I definitely have to go.
I told her to come not when it's cold. So
summertime.
October 28th is not exactly a warm day typically.
No. So we went for my friend's last queen engagement, and we all got cups and stuff. But I already have a tankard at home, so I didn't feel the need. But I don't have any fancy like big ass glasses, and they came with one of those lights inside, those comically like light changing ones. So you know, I was fun drinking I don't know, some sort of slushy drink in that had way too much sugar.
There's a very special experience when you get drunk at medieval times.
Yes.
It's not like getting drunk anywhere else.
And it was funnier because we knew the queen, so we would yell at her the whole time. Yeah. And then she would do like in jokes throughout the thing, and we'd die laughing, and everyone would be like, what the fuck's wrong with these people?
It's really unfortunate, I imagine, to be a children's birthday party when any of us are at a medieval times.
That's when we go at night.
Screaming at your knight to unhorse the other knight.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh my God.
Throw dirt in his eye, pocket sand and stuff like that. And meanwhile, the kids are just like, Mommy, why are the men yelling at the why do they smell like beer?
They smell funny.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a lovely time. And they have like they changed the storyline every couple years, so we had like a rogue knight in the storyline and stuff. Oh, so cool. Anyway, enough of medieval times.
Yeah, that was a good interlude.
It was. But
yeah, we'll be back for Blood. Yeah.
I'm gonna start streaming it when we play it.
I just didn't feel like streaming the other night, so I didn't.
Yeah, me neither. I was tired.
Yeah.
Maybe we can end up getting Hawk to play. Like, it's stupid cheap to buy, or just
$1 for Game Pass. Right?
Well, he doesn't have a gaming PC, but but you could always just up your
on PlayStation. That's right, because you can. It's on Play. It's PlayStation Extra.
Yeah.
Which is $7 more. I don't know how much it is. It's probably less than that. And you can download it and play it. And I don't know. Oh, nobody needs the expansion because I have the expansion. The only thing you don't get is that like I get 3 more. I think it's 3 more characters.
4.
4?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I only tried one, Hang, the old Asian man who stabs food and makes it better.
I feel like if Steve was playing, he'd play Hang just so he could use that accent.
Oh fuck! No, please no. That's the voice.
Damage.
Oh no! Yep. I sent him a meme or whatever video from YouTube, a Vine, and it was about like Asian parents or whatever. And I'm like, I don't know if I hurt him worse or if he laughed. He's not responded.
He's also been MIA on many everythings.
remember when Steve was on Geeks with Kids?
It's true.
Farm remembers.
We were I saw him on Saturday because I was getting biltong, which is a South African like jerky type meat. It's delicious. It's there's a place in Oakville that sells it, and he had the brio. He picked up the Logitech brio for me.
Yeah.
So he ended up going just because like, you should get this meat. It's delicious. So he ended up getting like, I don't know, $40 worth of meat and then some extra other stuff. And I was like, yeah, damn straight.
But he's not lying when he says it's expensive to be your friend because you convince people to buy exotic meats.
But it's worth it. The next time I see
only
Hawk,
the freshest South African meats for
so
Eric's
good.
friend.
It's so good. Hawk, what's good? Biltong is good. I should bring some to you, and you can just be like, yes, now I have to go to Oakville to get these meats.
For me, the thing I'm into the most right now is Horizon Forbidden West, game from last year. Obviously, I got last year, but I ended up putting aside because Elden Ring came out, and then I just completely, pretty much forgot about it.
But you also had a PS4 at the time, so now you're playing.
I did have a PS4, yes, which is why I reloaded it and got the PS5 version. And once I really started into it, I'm 70+ hours into it now. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Did you get to Vegas yet?
Yes, I did. I have my breather.
Good.
I got the breather. Good. Yes. Right now I'm trying to get the Sunwing override.
Oh, yep, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah. I know where you are. Yeah. I didn't know exactly where you are in that game. That game is so good. I never finished it because Elden Ring came out. And then I started playing that. And then something else came out and I didn't finish Elden Ring. I gotta finish all these games I have.
I know.
And then one day we're gonna play Gotham Knights.
I'm almost done that. That's the worst part about it, is that I'm so close to the end of it. Because I played it up until I got Midnight Suns. And now, because Midnight Suns is amazing and way better than Gotham Knights.
But Midnight Suns is single player.
Single player, yeah, that is unfortunate. Yeah, I really do got to get back to that. I got to get back to Horizon Forbidden West, especially since I'm going to be playing the expansion in like a week or two. 2 weeks? I don't know. The 3D
And one day
version,
I'll finish
the
The
VR
Last
one.
of Us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then
I know.
I'm going to get Last of Us on PC soon. That's coming out on PC in March.
I'm sure it looks good enough on your PS5 that you don't need it on PC.
I don't have the part 1 on my PS5. I only have the remastered version. You know.
Fucking Skyrim syndrome.
I know. But
when is it coming out for the Vita?
I can play it on my Steam Deck. That's the good thing. Like that's what I want.
I could stream it to my Vita if I wanted to, right? Because there's
That's
still
true.
game streaming from the PS4 to the PSP or Vita. Sorry,
But not
so
part
I
1.
could-
Only remastered.
Yeah,
I know. Too many editions of this. Too many.
yeah. It's just like, yeah. I'm sure it's made them a lot of money. Good for them.
Yeah.
but-
Yeah. Anything else? Hockey Horizon. So awesome.
It's so awesome. It's a beautiful game.
I think we did a review on it, did we not? Or did we not? Because we got into Elden
I don't
Ring.
think we didn't do. We did. I don't think we ever did a review on it, which is kind of a real foresight in that. One of the things that's really sticking out for me is the music. How good that score is.
Yeah. But then it got overshadowed by Bear McCreary's God of War.
Yep.
And then the Elden Ring score, also amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it just sort of got lost in the loop.
No, there was an episode, March 2nd, number 186, Elden Ring, Lost Ark, Horizon Forbidden West, and some Peacemaker talk.
Oh, yeah, the
Google machine shows me all the Geeks with Kids episodes I need to see.
That was the What's Good thing where we're like, let's bring something that we're really enjoying right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. We did a partial review. Says
chat all over Lost Ark.
That is that time. Only I reviewed it, says Brent on the chat, which makes sense because I was really into it at that time. For me, I can't talk about it because our embargo is till tomorrow, but we got the PC port for Returnal, and I really liked it on PS5. I never got to beat it because I ended up moving on to Horizon. I think it's what came in the way. Oh my god!
All these games, they just trump
they just go
one another
in like a row, so I never get to finish it. And oh man, I really got Gotham Knights is the one I should just finish because I just don't want to go back into it right now. Yeah. But I think I'll probably give like initial like what I think about it, like just a brief one on Wednesday when the embargo lifts. So that's good. I look forward to that. I like that apparently our Dead Ice game is coming to a close, maybe soonish.
I mean, it could still take
Really?
6 fucking months,
It
right?
could. It depends on how often we can show up.
We're in the end game now, Hawk. They're in the final chapter.
Brittany finally figured out what was going on like 2 weeks ago. We missed last week.
After I held their hands and took them to the greatest library in all the Forgotten Realms so they could figure out what was going on, basically. And the plot was revealed to them through a series of NPCs, yeah.
Yeah, it's very exciting. And
I've weaved together a fucking intricate spider web of every Forgotten Realms video game that I've played, basically. Like Neverwinter Nights and Baldur's Gate and Icewind Dale. So
I really like it. Like I'm really enjoying it, and I'm looking forward to us moving onward and upwards. And
always twirling towards
twirling,
the future.
twirling towards freedom.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't know what's after it.
No, we don't.
But I gotta figure out how to like.
Well,
we gotta finish the thing before we can start.
Finish
a new
it.
thing,
add
so.
new people. Get rid of people. I don't know.
Get rid of Eric's out.
We're gonna figure out where it goes. Anyway, really good. News, I guess. Super Bowl was yesterday. Someone won. I don't know who.
It went to overtime, and my friend's team lost, so they're very upset.
Was it Philadelphia?
Wasn't the Eagles.
Who won?
The Eagles lost.
Wasn't the Eagles.
Oh, okay.
The Eagles lost.
Yeah,
I
the
don't know
Birds
either.
lost. But here's the thing: they would have rioted in Philadelphia regardless of the outcome. In fact, they were pre-rioting, as I understand.
Oh.
I mean, riot may be a strong term this time because, like, the last time they played, it was bad.
Yeah.
I think, if you really want to get into the mentality of the Eagles fan and that, everybody should watch Charlie's Home Alone from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh.
Go Birds! Yeah, there's been a bunch of it's Always Sunny Instagram and whatnot have been posting a lot of stuff about, because they've done like 2 Super Bowl episodes, I think, actually.
I believe they've done a few around football, and that one was actually based around like when the Eagles actually did make it to the bowl versus the Patriots. It was a 2-parter. They did the whole thing, the Invincible thing as well.
Yeah.
Where the average Philadelphian can try out for the Eagles.
Did you see that what Brittany posted? I think it was either Saturday or Sunday from her Instagram. It was someone getting married in Philadelphia with an Eagles wedding gown. Like, it was just the logo all over it. I was like, oh my God, football.
There's just one thing I beg of people is don't wrap while I'm wearing a StarCraft shirt, don't wrap your identity in a thing. Like, especially something like a sports team. Like, be your own person and just like a thing, but don't make it your identity. Like it's so weird is that, like, people are like, oh, my sports team is my culture, and you're like, that's not that
doesn't seem healthy.
Did
it just get bluer? Weird. Anyway, during Sports Ball, Super Bowl, they had a couple trailers come out. They had The Flash, they had Fast X, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which showed way too much. Why am I going different colors?
You said that, and I watched it, and I was like, okay, I still don't know what's going on.
Yeah, but they're showing lots of stuff. I don't know. I would have been fine not watching that and just going into the theater, unfortunately. They had a bunch of small spots for Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves. Yeah. They had
there was my personal favorite, the Rise of the Beast Transformers TV spot, which was actually a Porsche commercial.
Yeah, it was a Porsche commercial.
And not it showed none of the beasts from Rise of the Beast. None of the Maximals.
They showed Optimus Primal, but it was just him going, bah!
Oh, okay. Which I think is in another trailer.
It is in the first trailer. I'm Ron Perlman.
Yeah, I know. I like Ron Perlman, but he's not Optimus Primal to me. The problem is Peter Cullen did Optimus Primal as well, so it's kind of...
I'm fine with Ron Perlman. He has a great voice, and he sounds sort of sounds like him, which is nice. At least he's not sounding like Hellboy. Oh,
I don't know. I'm not going to see that in theaters, but I will see it eventually, and then I will.
I like the Beast machines. I like them a lot. Like when I was
older. The problem is I didn't see Rhinox or Cheetor or Rat Trap. So
no, Rat Trap means point? I don't get to see it in
theaters. Or Tigertron, right? Like Air Razor. Where the fuck are the Maxim? Where are the cool kids? Like you can have Optimus Primal. It's like we already have Optimus Prime.
Like I wonder.
We've already got one.
Are they doing what were the Decepticons?
Predacons,
baby. Yeah, shit.
Oh yes, Optimus Prime, we meet again.
Yeah, like I don't know. Well, yeah, I don't know. Maybe
Tarantulas, Black Arachnia.
You know what sucks is that Bumblebee was really good. That movie, I really enjoyed that movie.
Bumblebee?
Yeah, it was a fun like '80s movie. And this one's set in the '90s.
There's 2 good Transformers: Transformers 1 and Bumblebee.
Yeah.
And the 1986 or whatever it is.
What has Pete Davidson? Is the new one have Pete Davidson?
Is he in the new Transformers?
Oh, get out.
Did he fuck Optimus Prime too?
I mean, it has Anthony Ramos from In the Heights, so that's why I want to see it.
Pete Davidson's the voice of a Transformer, but yeah.
Which one is he? The Porsche?
He's playing Mirage.
Oh, okay.
So the Porsche, yeah, the one the trailer had.
Okay. Well,
sure. Whatever.
Fair enough, I guess.
Sure.
Oh.
That's the least like hot take on like could get a voice actor, or we could get a comedian for some reason to play a character, because it's not like he's doing performance capture for it if he's just doing the voice. Which,
I mean, I don't know. I doubt it. He's not.
Michael Bay doesn't do performance capture. He just does CGI. Yeah,
that's
right.
Fair. That's fair.
It's too bad, actually. You think that'd be pretty good?
Yeah,
that'd actually be pretty dope to have Transformers performance capture.
Yeah, but I'm sure he's just like Weta, make it good, or ILM, make it good.
Make it good.
Make things go boom.
I mean, a James Cameron Transformers movie would probably, especially a Beast Wars movie, would probably be pretty dope.
Well, I saw Avatar 2, and it was gorgeous. It was long, but it was gorgeous.
Was it a good movie?
It was better than the first one.
Really?
Yeah, I liked it better.
So what story is this one that came to him in a dream? What's this? The first one is Fern Gully, or Dances with Wolves.
Dances with
Last
Wolves,
Samurai.
I think.
This one is The Brave Little Toaster.
Dude, it was what was that? Mel Gibson.
We're Back, maybe.
What was that Mel Gibson movie where
The Patriot?
The Patriot. There's hints of Patriot in this because I was like, is this gonna happen? And then it happened. There's like.
Well, The Patriot, there's a very specific inciting incident. So if that's what happens, that's pretty fucking dark.
There's some dark things in it.
Okay.
And yeah, I don't know. Like the one thing that really bothered me about Avatar 2 is Sigourney Weaver does not sound like a teenager, and she's playing a teenager.
Plays a teenager.
And I'm just sitting there, it's like, this is Sigourney Weaver, just going higher. I'm like, whatever.
Did they also bring back Giovanni Ribisi? Because he was in the first movie.
Yes, but
okay,
but in a different way.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like he's not.
Are you guys going to watch
actor,
it?
So
no.
Like, no.
Yeah, one day.
Okay.
But I don't care.
He's in like a video call. That's like a video recording. That's how he shows up.
Okay.
Even like the only real people from the first one are Jake Sully and his wife. I don't remember her name.
Zoe Saldana?
Zoe Saldana, yeah. They're the only
Neytiri?
Yeah, Neytiri. They're the only real people to return in the second movie. Like they have the scientists and stuff occasionally show up, but they're hardly in it.
For some reason, I have the first movie on like special edition Blu-ray, and I don't remember where I got it from. I have it. I think someone just went, I don't want this, and just was like, all right, I have a collection of Blu-rays.
It's funny because I think back to that movie and I saw it twice in theaters, and I'm like, why did I see it twice in theaters? And the only reason I can think of is someone wanted to go to, and they're like, can you come with me? And I'll be like, okay, because I like movie popcorn.
I know exactly when I saw that because I saw the movie on its second run, and I was visiting a friend in Welland. And we went to see it in, I think, because Welland doesn't have a theater, right? So we went to the St.
No, Thorold does. But not Welland.
We went to St. St. Catherine's. Penn Center. No, I don't know. This is like 15 years ago, but
2000.
It was in 3D, but this was not a theater meant for 3D.
I saw it in high frame rate, like The Hobbit, and it's still fucking weird. Like it's just too smooth and too like there's no motion blur, so it just feels like a video game all the time, or at least at times. But there were moments where it just like it looked so real. It was crazy, so real. I want to see a Navi call someone sugar tits. Mel Gibson, I was talking about thing.
Oh Jesus!
Oh God!
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Oh my God! Yeah, I'm always reminded that Funhouse did like a bit, and they played the recording of Mel Gibson.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, because they're like hype. They're like, oh, it's not that bad, and they play it, and they just one by one get up and leave the room. It's so bad.
Oh my God!
Oh God!
I know
it's bad.
Yeah, I know we were talking about this off air, but what did you guys think of the Flash trailer? Hawk?
I actually really like the trailer itself. You know, it made me excited for the movie. Yeah, just based on that alone. I still have a lot of reservations about going to see it, though.
Yeah, same. I have reservations. It looks neat. I did not expect Zod to show up. I didn't know he was coming back. So that's the one thing I'm just like, oh, I want to see that because I want to see how Supergirl would deal with that. Would she snap his neck? I don't know. Because Superman would. Ezra Miller is an iffy person to me, and I don't know. I don't like him in general. So we'll see. We'll see. David?
Yeah.
I did not realize. See, now that I've looked up the movie and I see the director, and I'm like, man, I really liked Mama, which the Guillermo del Toro produced, written horror film,
and It, right?
And It Part 1 and Part 2. So
Andy Muschietti, right?
Yeah, clearly a very good director whose work I like. Like I cried during It too, but that's a personal thing. So at the beginning, it wasn't like the monster didn't scare me. It was this. It was there was a very fresh wound, so
Yeah.
at the time. But it's like, oh, but I really don't want to support Ezra Miller. Just the behavior has been fucking terrible.
Yeah.
And I think like genuinely, like I think WB is like exploitative of, like, you have two options, and one is like WB is exploiting someone who needs help, or someone is just a real bad person, you know? So like you kind of have either way. I think it's bad. And I also don't think the trailer looked very
I
good.
feel like this is them, like James Gunn is saying how much he enjoys the film, but I think this is them being like, this is our chance to reboot. Like, this is based on Flashpoint, which broke into the New 52 when Barry Allen goes back in time and saves his mom and just fucks up everything. And I like that storyline a lot. Like, I like even the animated movie they did.
They did do it on Arrow, or I guess The Flash, and they did a pretty good job.
Yeah, it was not bad.
And Ezra Miller was on that show as the Flash.
Yeah, he did. He showed up. It was unexpected.
So,
I mean, I'm down for seeing Ben Affleck come back as Bruce Wayne. I like him as Batman.
Good.
For the last time, I guess. Now.
Yeah, Michael Keaton looks good, but I think that Michael Keaton overshadowed everyone else in that trailer.
I mean, that's the problem, right? Is that, like, if I go to see the movie, it's going to be for not the Flash, which means
for Michael Keaton for sure.
Well, and and potentially Supergirl. I also think it really sucks that they buried Batgirl.
Yep.
Like, one of my friends wrote, was like, well, I blame misogyny, which, it's probably not actually the reason, but if you want to,
it plays a part in it.
Yeah. But they were like, well, Batgirl is like the old continuity, and the Flash gets to be the new continuity. I'm like, well, then it doesn't matter, right? Like, the Dark Phoenix came out eventually. New Mutants came out eventually. Like, who cares, right? Yeah. Like, it makes, I don't know. I'm going into accounting, and I don't understand how you write a movie off
a full movie.
Like, that's not how that works.
No.
Well, like an
you
HBO
spent
Max,
the money,
like wrote off Westworld and just took it off their services.
Well, Westworld is now going somewhere else, right? We got good news. I was reading.
Are they actually going to finish it?
No, I don't think so. It's probably just going to a streaming service because they took it off of HBO Max to stream. But yeah, it's so weird. Like, I really like Flashpoint as a story. I like Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Michael Shannon was great as Zod, I think.
I enjoyed him.
So, like, it's just the Flash that I have an issue with in this.
Is it weird that we'll
the central character of the story you have a problem with?
Is it weird that we would see, Man of Steel Zod or adjacent Zod, right? It's just like the same thing where it's in Marvel, where it was like, it's the same character from a different universe. So they look the same, and you're like, oh, it's a difference. Or is it Man of Steel Zod, or is it a different Zod?
Yeah.
And so is this Supergirl actually Henry Cavill, Superman's cousin, or is it? Because it kind of doesn't matter.
Which is funny because in the Snyderverse, Supergirl landed like hundreds of years before Kal-El. It's in a comic that they tied into Man of Steel, which is apparently canon for the Snyderverse.
Sure, whatever, doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It would be interesting to see the reverse happen in this movie. I don't know. We'll see what happens in June or July, whenever that movie comes out.
It took me so long to watch Black Adam, and I did not come out of that going, I'm glad I watched it.
That movie's terrible. Although,
there's so many things I wanted to like about it, but
Dr.
it's
Fate
just not worth it.
was so good in that movie. He was so good in that movie.
I mean, you can put any 60 to 70-year-old actor in just about any movie now. If they take it seriously, they're going to do it. Just like, if it's half decent writing, they're going to be amazing. So
the first 25 minutes of the Black Adam, I was like, oh, this seems like it's shaping up to be a decent film. But then, yeah.
This guy's incredibly dangerous. He could be more powerful than Superman. Better get some teenagers on the case.
Yeah.
Better
get not Superman on it.
Henry Winkler is in everything right now.
Yeah.
Right? He was in that, and he was in The Legend of Vox Machina.
Yeah. Yeah, it was unexpected to see him in that movie. Oh, man. Black Adam,
I love that even though Henry Winkler is so far removed from my generation.
Yep.
He's been in so many things, like Arrested Development, right? That's a big one. that I could recognize him by voice.
Sure.
Right? Like,
You must have seen Happy Days at least in the rerun
It was on
form,
reruns
right?
all
I
the
did
time.
not see how. I watched 66 Batman. I watched The Three Stooges, Abbott and Costello. You know,
Man,
Little
Happy Days
Carol
was on
Burnett,
YTV all the time.
but
Mhm.
I never watched Happy Days.
Interesting.
Monday,
Yeah.
And of course,
Tuesday,
like,
Happy Days.
Henry recently won an Emmy and that for his role in Barry as
Oh,
Gene
yeah, yeah,
Cousineau.
Yeah, that's a show I need to.
Oh, it's so good.
I need to
isn't it?
finish that show too. I'm still in season 1.
I was honestly sitting around last night being like, I need to watch something. What am I going to watch? And I finally finished Calamity from EXE, which is Critical Role, which is phenomenal. It's a 4-part.
It's just
it's
4,
like
yeah.
super short. It's
That's
like
the one we
20
told
hours.
Hawk to watch, right?
It's very
Yeah.
good. Brandon Lee Mulligan is a phenomenal GM.
I like.
And then I watched the wrap up.
I only saw the first episode and it was really good. I haven't.
Dude,
It's so good.
it's so good. And then so I'm like, well, I guess I'll start, catching up on Critical Role. I'm only 7 months behind. That's fine. It's not a big deal.
I'm so far behind on that.
But yeah, I should just start watching Barry, Nick. I should finally just.
You really should. I mean, like,
do
it's such an easy watch. They're only like about half-hour episodes each.
Yeah.
There's like 8 per season, and it's just it alternates between this really, really dark, funny comedy and that to this really like these emotional highs and lows and that
It's
of a guy.
that and Veep that I think I
haven't
need
seen
to. I think I
Veep.
need to watch Veep. But also, I have Westworld, and I've only seen the first episode of the first season.
It's so good.
So I don't know. But the problem I have with HBO is like if they don't finish a show, I
They
don't want
didn't.
to watch it.
Then don't
So,
watch it.
Yeah.
well, like when I found out Chernobyl was going to be more than one season, everyone's Chernobyl's amazing. I'm like, I'm sorry, this
It's gonna be
historical
more than
event.
one season.
Well, the first season doesn't finish the story. Like, and I understand, like technically speaking, you can't finish telling a story about history, but there's more. There's more they need to tell in a Chernobyl Part 2, and so like they leave it like as a sequel open. It's like, why would this need a sequel? This is so I've not watched
It's The Last
Chernobyl
of
for that
Us.
reason.
The Last of Us is the sequel.
No. Okay.
I don't think he's leaving Last of Us to go do Chernobyl 2.
No. That doesn't make any sense to me in that. I mean, like, Chernobyl pretty much bookend.
What bothers me about it so much?
God.
I was legit like about to start it, and my friend was like, "Well, they kind of just left it open for a sequel," and I'm like, "How do you have what? Is the next season the fall of the USSR? What are we talking about?" Like,
That's
yeah, I don't know.
So Craig Mazin said there's not going to be a second season.
no. Why would
So I should just watch it, but if
Yeah.
it ends, it's such a weird thing to like. I don't know if it ends on a cliffhanger, but I just imagine if it ended on a cliffhanger, it'd be like, what? Like I could just go read Wikipedia.
No.
watch Chernobyl.
Alright.
Whether there's a second season, which obviously there won't be in that.
Yeah.
It's series. It bookends itself. It starts
Brent
out
says
Yeah, I laughed at that
Chernobyl
too.
to Chernobler.
Chernobyl better.
Craig Mazin said that if he came back to do a Chernobyl season 2, it wouldn't be like him coming back to do a sequel to that. It would be him doing another disaster. Like it would be another disaster of equal proportions. But he's doing The Last of Us, so
Could you imagine like the great molasses flood of like 1870? Have you guys heard of this?
no.
Oh, this is a real thing. Molasses is a liquid, obviously, right?
Yeah.
But it's very viscous. And boiling molasses, like thousands of liters of it. Eric, you're fucking up, man. Thousands of liters like boiling molasses like flooded a town in the United States in the 1800s.
Jesus.
And like tons of people, it's a terrible disaster, like awful. But I remember reading that as a kid, being like, molasses, the stuff like my mom uses to make cookies, molasses. That like it's sort of like the 1930s, The Blob, where you're like that thing's gonna that just big slow moving mass is gonna kill us all one day. What are you talking about? Like. It's like the steamroller or in Austin Powers that just slowly inches towards you. Like, I just get out of the way, you'll be fine.
Move!
But yeah,
I mean, there's just so many puns. It's like this was a particularly sticky situation.
Oh, here we go. Mazin said he was more definitive in his answer. with all due respect to Decider, but the definitive answer to the headline's question, will there be a season 2 of Chernobyl, is no. So,
No.
there it is.
No.
There it is. Oh, thanks for putting the link about the Great Molasses
the Great
Flood.
Molasses Flood of Boston, Massachusetts happened in 1919.
They can't deal with their tea. They can't deal with their...
21 people died.
Jesus. Could you imagine dying by molasses? Oh, I don't know.
It would be like how Tasha Yar died.
Oh, Star Trek Picard starting this week.
Yes, it is.
That's something I'm excited. And apparently, I'm gonna just do a bunch of news right now. John Wick 4 its runtime is ridiculously long.
Oh, how long?
They said there's a super long car chase.
Apparently, it's as long as Interstellar. So that is, how long is that?
Interstellar.
169 minutes with credits.
Nice.
Wow.
I mean,
2 hours 49. So it's just a shy bit under 3 hours of John Wick this year
with credits. That's great. I can't wait for John Wick 4. Apparently,
yes.
Apparently Ted Lasso, the one of the executives for Apple, said that there might be a season 4. They're trying to convince the team to do it.
Yeah, because this was the season 3 is supposed to be the last one, right?
Yeah. Season 3 is supposed to be the last one, but I don't know if they were like, here's a dump truck of money. Would you like to make more Ted Lasso? It makes people happy in these sad times.
The problem is, though, that doesn't mean the last season is going to be good, right?
No, the next one, but season 3 was the one.
That's what it's. Sorry, if they make another one.
Yeah, that is fair. Other news.
Wait, a streaming service wants to continue a show that people like?
I know.
And it is high quality? What are you talking about?
Apple TV has some really good TV shows if you've not seen it.
They have the Jon Stewart thing, don't they?
Yeah. Yep. Slow Horses. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah. And then they have what's that one with the dude from Parks and Rec?
There's a lot of people from Parks and Rec.
I know. I should have been more. Good Lord. Adam Scott. What's he in? What's that show he's in?
Oh, they're making a new season of Party Down.
Yeah.
Hawk, have you not seen Party Down?
No.
It's very
that's an
funny.
Old TV show.
Yeah, it's been like 9 years since the last season.
Okay.
I feel like it's been longer than that.
Party Down was originally on from 2009. Yep. I think they had 2 seasons, 2009, 2010.
I think it was 2 seasons, yeah.
Created by Rob Thomas, Paul Rudd, some other people that I don't think people are going to know. Rob Thomas of iZombie, Veronica Mars, that sort of thing.
It has one of the dudes from Silicon Valley.
Martin Starr, Jane
Starr,
Lynch,
yeah.
Lizzie Kaplan, Ken Marino, Adam Scott. Yeah, it was like a Megan Mullally. It was a lot of people before they like kind of got big.
Yeah. Severance is the show I'm talking about, by the way, with Adam Scott.
Oh, yes.
It's like Lost in an Office, which is crazy, and it's really good.
Okay.
And that's a very bad description of the show, but it's very good.
I mean, I recently found out what the like shtick is for it, and I'm like, oh, that's what I guessed.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that's good or not, though. Like, I guess
I've also been enjoying that. I think it's Echo 8. It's on Apple TV. It stars Luke Evans. It's this great story in that about this woman in that who's basically she's kidnapped in Colombia and that after she works for a drug company. She's doing research into addiction and that and was studying this like one village where there is no addiction issues. Anyways, she ends up getting kidnapped by a cartel and that after they find one of those army grade beacons in her backpack. Which her husband put it in there because he was with special forces and his father runs like one of the biggest weapons contractors in the States.
Jesus.
Yeah. So they think she's CIA.
What is this on? Because I'm trying to find it and I keep finding
Apple TV.
Okay. I can't find it on IMDb. You send it to me later so I can watch it.
Sure.
I'm surprised Dave didn't talk about Physical 100.
Well, it's not done, right?
That's true. It's very good
because it's not good until it's done. Like
okay.
so annoyed that I have to wait every
see
Tuesday for new episodes.
Fair. Is that midnight or no? At 3 a.m, right? I think we do
Yeah.
West Coast time.
Yeah, I have to sleep tonight though. I have
that's fair.
class in the morning.
I do. I have to go to a funeral tomorrow, so yeah, I know.
Lord.
Fun times. Last piece of news.
Fine, you win.
I know, fine. Last piece of news. Mattel and Minecraft have partnered for some DLC and toy lineup. It's called what's it called? Camp Enderwood DLC map and toy line. It's actually a free map that they're releasing on the marketplace, so you can actually just go and play in it and have like activities and stuff. My kids play Minecraft, so it's good to have this. And the toys that they've released are actually quite good quality, so it looks really good. I don't know if you guys play Minecraft. My kids played more than me.
I used to.
Yeah, it looks really cool. Like I've downloaded for them. They've enjoyed it. It's it's free. It's cool. They've started asking for toys, so now I'm just like, I guess they're well made. It's Mattel, so it's fun, especially in these cold times, to have something for them to be like, oh, remember when we went camping and you can ride horses at camping. You can remember we used to roast marshmallows and stuff. And to be honest, I'd rather them play Minecraft than Roblox, because Roblox is garbage, hot garbage.
Shots fired.
That's right.
Fair enough.
And damn straight. And I don't want my kids asking for more Robux. I'm not getting them
Robux.
damn cards of digital currency. That's for me to spend. Steam bucks or whatever they're called, or PlayStation stuff. I don't remember. Anyway, check it out. It's free. It's on Minecraft. It's free on there. It's on their marketplace.
I don't know. Like, there's a new map. I don't even know how that works.
So they have a marketplace where people can build maps or companies, build things like. For the Nintendo
I know
Switch,
there were like sets, all right. You could have like a Star Wars like tile set essentially, right? Like stuff like that.
These
But
are
I
pre-built
don't-
worlds, so they're like you can go in. So for the Switch, like we just got the Switch version because I don't want them taking my computer all the time. So in there they have like a Mario world that's all set up in Minecraft and has like Mario assets and stuff and has sound effects. It's really cool. On PC, because they added RTX ray tracing and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. They have ray tracing built maps, so NVIDIA made maps specific for that so that they could showcase, hey, look, Minecraft can look pretty with the sun and all these things. And then it runs slowly at times because it's ray shading.
It's Minecraft.
Yeah. Surprisingly, not that bad. I think Bedrock is the current build. Java's the one that's bad for me, at least. Yeah, anyway, kids are having fun with it. It's free. Go check it out. Let's get to the real show, because we're talking about Vox Machina. It ended 12 episodes. The first thing I want to ask you guys, we're all familiar with the show. We all watched the first season. I'm pretty sure we did a review about it last year.
Maybe.
I think so, yeah.
I feel like so.
Dave, get on that.
Before that, were you familiar with the show? If we didn't do it, like, were you familiar with Critical Role and their fun oddities, Dave?
Are you, dude? I knew about Critical Role before there was a Critical Role, because
How?
I used to watch Tabletop on Geek and Sundry.
Yeah, I used to watch that.
Geek and Sundry was founded by Will Wheaton and Felicia Day.
Yep.
And they heard about, people who would know Critical Role would know the story, that the cast of Critical Role was approached by them to, Felicia Day apparently specifically, to put their D&D show on YouTube and Twitch and whatnot, because it was like, and this is a long time ago. This is like 8 years ago now. It's kind of crazy.
Longer
to think
than
about
that, isn't it?
Wow.
It might, it's quite a while.
Yeah.
Maybe it's 2013, 2014, something like that.
I think it was before I got married. And I got married in 2013.
Wow. So I was like, a D&D game that's a bunch of fucking voice actors?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
So I watched it live on Twitch, because back then I was, in my early 20s or mid 20s maybe, and could not get as much sleep and stay up until 4 a.m. or whatever, because they're, West Coast. So I've been on that bandwagon for a long time.
Yeah.
I
Same.
was an OG critter, but I never got involved. I don't want to be like
Yeah,
in their Twitch chat. They were. It's weird to be like I was there first, and it's like no, it's fine. I want people to like it.
Yeah.
Yes,
But
exactly.
I watched basically the entire first campaign live as it happened.
Same,
And then when the
same.
second one finally happened is when I kind of like let it go a little bit and start. So I'm intimately familiar with, the Legend of. I have several of the books and stuff like that because I don't plan on ever running in their campaign setting, but I just
Tal'Dorei
wanted
is
the
nice.
books.
I like the
Yeah.
artwork on it. I like the books.
And I have a ton of the comics, obviously,
Yeah.
because I'm a comic nerd. So
Oh yeah, Hawk. You should read the Origins comics. They're very
they're
good.
very good.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. I'll go because Hawk. I know where you land on this. I
Yes.
watched most of the first campaign, and then I fell off because it was long and it was late, and I was in between moving from Toronto to Guelph. So there was a lot of it was just a lot of up in the air, and then I was commuting like 5 hours a day, so I would try and listen to it and stuff, but it was long, and then I fell off, and then my buddy Stu was like, have you heard about this Critical Role? I was like, I think that sounds familiar, and I got into it because of Felicia Day, because I love Geek and Sundry, and I had a crush on Felicia Day. So there was that whole thing. And and then Stu was like, yeah, you should check it out. And I was like, and then I came back into it, and then I was like, oh shit, I don't remember what happened in the first campaign, what I listened to, so I had to restart it, and then I got into the second campaign and whatnot, and the third one, and then I haven't really gotten into much of the Mighty Nein, but I will eventually. I really want to finish the Cataclysm 4-part series that David put me onto a couple weeks ago. So yeah. I love it, and I was also one of the Kickstarters, like David here and Brittany, who's part of the show. We all pitched in money to get that small web series produced, and it ended up being
maybe turning into one of the biggest animated series ever.
Yeah,
honestly,
yeah, seriously. The animation Titmouse, man, they really
so good.
God.
They upped their game. Yeah, Canadian. West Coast. All right, Hawk.
Yes, I was completely unfamiliar with this. This was one of those shows where Eric says you have to watch it. And then usually, if Eric is bugging you to watch a show and that, then there's something to it. And that said, I not familiar with the source material. I've learned a lot about it since then, but I haven't actually.
We keep on talking about it, so it's hard not to just get it, soak it in.
But that's what's so funny about going into and watching the series, and that it's like this is not a typical D&D series, and they do not, and then like everybody started telling me on that the humor in it is based around like the jokes and in the in between talks that they do during their between plays and roles and that. So and it makes it when you go in with that little bit of knowledge, everything starts to make a lot more sense in that. But even if I hadn't known that, it would still stand out, stand on its own. In that the show is very good.
Yeah, what gives it's even like what makes it even more solid is that they streamline so much of their awesomeness, and so it's just like compact of all the good stuff without all the. I don't want to say fluff because it's not really fluff. There's a lot of other stuff in there.
There's such a huge benefit to telling a story over 5 hours a week, right? And doing that for 2-3 years, and then condensing that story and just removing all the superfluous bits, right?
Yeah.
Because there's some modifications for the show.
Yeah.
But you think realistically, if you're gonna write a script for a movie, how much time are you gonna spend, right? 100 hours, 200 hours, something like that. That's probably how much time, and then a rewrite, maybe another 100, 200 hours. These people spent thousands of hours making the story and then picked the best parts and then connected it in more realistic that's how movies used to get made, right? People would write scripts for years. And that's why you get scripts like Chinatown that are this is amazing, right? That this wasn't just made in 12 months. So there's tons of benefit, and then they get to go over this again after they already have all that stuff and they already know what the best bits are because they've watched it again and again and again, and the fans, talk about it, and then they go, well, you know what, that didn't work so great, so let's tweak that a little bit so we can make that better or more entertaining or funny or whatever. And not only do you get good story, but they get to take the funniest bits that worked really well, because these, they're not comedians, they're voice actors, and so they're good storytellers, but it's not, it's not Bill Burr.
No, but they are
writing
good.
these things.
They're good improvers too.
Yeah,
right? And a lot of that came out in this show, right? In their actual game, which I like that they actually kept that in there. That it felt like it feels like a D&D game without it being like, hey, look, we're gonna roll dice here, right? I love, like, there are fun little things that D&D players, like the door thing, like like in the first season, like it killed me when that happened, because that happened in their show, and the fact that they put it in there was just so good. It's
so special that it works on its own.
Mm-hmm.
Like Hawk can watch it and really enjoy it, right? And you really only need to be a fan of fantasy, and animation, right? You don't have to be like, well, I love D&D. It's like, no, you don't have to like D&D to like this show. It's filling a very special niche in animation where it's very high quality animation. Yep. It's very adult as well. Like the first season has nudity, which is so weird.
I forgot.
Yeah, right. I was just like, I knew this show was for adults, but I didn't realize there was going to be like nudity.
And so much more,
and a lot of swearing, and I'm a big fan of all the blood. I'm a huge fan of that stuff.
I enjoyed,
but it's not
the second
gratuitous either. It's not shock factor or anything like that. It's just like it's for impact, right?
Yeah,
I think that really, like that, the idea of impact really comes to a head in the second season, because like the animation style, storytelling, music, especially in episode 10 when Grog has his big battle. Like, that's like the culmination of them. And like, what's great about this show is that the first season we got to really learn about Percy and his background, right? And then the second season we're getting more about Vax and Vex. We got more about Grog, even a little bit about Pike. Pike was more first season than some of the second season.
Well, Pike went on the journey in the first season, right? And this season we're learning about where Pike came from, right?
Yeah.
That's what this season seems to be about, is where did everybody come from?
Yeah.
Except for, Percy. But like even
because we already got Percy's.
Even Keyleth, right? Like we learn sort of where she came from. Like,
and like there's something about a TV show where you can actually see them grow. Like when we're playing D&D, we level up and stuff, and that's awesome. Our powers grow, we get cooler stuff. But in this, it feels like they're earning these. And we're earning it in the game too, but
are you?
sometimes our GM is just like, these guys are pretty sad. Let's just give them
weak.
something. But in this, like they're really earning. Like when Grog gets his strength back and he finally gets those gauntlets, like, man, like you were rooting for him that whole time, and they were singing like the music in that sequence. I don't know if you had the subtitles on, but it was all about when we rage and rage motherfuckers rage, and I was just sitting there, I was like, this is the best song ever. Like Sam, he sang on Critical Role, but nothing like this. Like he really, like his singing skills are incredible.
So whack that he's just like, oh, I'm just normal guy from like New York. I was kind of on Broadway a little bit, and you're like, he's like a premier voice director in LA, and his wife is like an Oscar-winning, I think she won it, or is it an Oscar or an Emmy? I don't remember, but like cinematographer, and he's just like, I kind of like improvise songs because I did a little Broadway, and you're like, well, his improvised songs are pretty good. He's stupidly funny. And then you're like, oh, well, then he also wrote like actual proper songs. Like he helped write the theme song for this show and wrote the theme song for. I think someone else wrote like the melody that they used at some point, and then it kind of all culminated. But
the Ready to Roll, that one?
He did that one for the D&D Beyond commercial because he kept like that started because he improvised something on stream, and then they were like, "Why don't you just make a song and we'll like turn that into an animated thing?" And then that animated thing turned into, "We should probably make a show." Like it's just Critical Role is this like Katamari Damacy where eventually they're going to take over the planet, and then the moon's going to get sucked into the orbit, and then the sun and Mercury. You know, like.
So it has just sort of steamrolled
Critical
on.
Role land.
It's amazing. Yeah. Oh my God. Could you imagine? I would be down. I would definitely cosplay, and I would definitely print out some Critical Role stuff eventually on my 3D printer. So the first season really dealt with the Briarwood storyline, and this one is the first half of the Chroma Conclave. What did you think of how they dealt with them finding the 3 vestiges and then eventually doing the big battle with the dragon at the end? Oh yeah, by the way, there's spoilers in this.
Wait a minute, they fight a dragon in this show?
What?
What do you think of how they paced it out, especially with all the origin stuff, or all that stuff in this season? Hawk, go.
That was a great way of breaking up the episodes and also like focusing like the season, for me in particular. Like I said, last season was about like Percy and like what happened with him and the vampires.
And you're really getting to know the characters for the first time, right?
Yeah, I learned a lot more about the characters and that. It made me love them a lot more this season. Just seeing them going off on these different like looking for these vestiges and that, the whole thing with Vex and Vox and that, what happens with them, and worry about like, what was going to happen to their relationship and that, because it's like I asked you in that, that's spoilers for anyone listening and that, but the scene where Vex dies and that, and the Raven Queen and that basically snips the connection between the two of them.
Yeah.
This thing that they'd had between them, like, ever since they were kids, they were the only people they could rely on. It was each other and that. And I was like, oh my God, is their relationship going to change after this? It doesn't, but no, I enjoyed it. And that I love the search for the vestiges. The whole thing with Grog and that, the whole storyline with Grog and like him keeping the dark sword.
Oh yeah.
Craven Edge.
Craven Edge.
Yeah.
Just talking to him like, give me, feed me. Wait, no, that's Little Shop of Horrors.
It's basically the same in that. It's like, I need blood.
Well, that wood be if Craven Edge went to Scanlan, right? Like Scanlan would be Seymour.
Yeah, that's true.
I hunger, Scanlan.
I know Grog's like too much, like such a sweetheart, and that to have such an evil weapon.
Yeah. I mean, and I was a little surprised that they actually really cut down on some of the comedy that resulted between like when Grog first got Craven Edge and it started talking to him, and he was so confused. And they did move that scene because that scene was originally in Vasselheim, and he's in an outhouse talking to it, and there's the whole thing where Scanlan's like, "Are you okay?" Like the kind of Austin Powers, like, "You tell that turd who's boss, buddy." And they kind of tone that down a little bit, I think, and just because there's no need to really draw that out. And if you want to watch that whole thing, you can literally just Google it. It'll be on YouTube. It's been clipped to death.
Yeah.
But I did like the sort of difference because when you watch the show, when you watch the live game, the hunt for the vestiges wasn't like their goal. Essentially, they were a little less. They had sort of a less direct trajectory because the order of operations has changed a little bit too. Because there's different characters and things like that. They've kind of cut out some characters for expediency. Because you can't go off on every side quest.
Yeah.
On if you want to make 12 episodes a season from 1,000 hours of content, and you're only going to do so many seasons. So I like how focused they are, and I think they're doing a great job of still staying consistent with the characters because everything still feels earned. Nothing feels too rushed to me, which I'm sure was a huge debate for them, right? Because that would suck to make things not feel earned or to be rushed. You'd be like, wait a minute, how did you get that leap already?
They could have pushed all of Chroma Conclave in season 2, and I'm sure they would have done a good job. But I like that there was breathing room in this.
Yeah. To see the relationships that we know are coming down the line as well. All like the seeds were there in season 1, but they're already starting. You're like, oh, okay, like that connection's.
Yeah.
I'm glad they've made that connection. Like the different, like Vex and Vax. Like you get the little hints that like they are growing up, right? Grog is growing up because some people have already kind of grown up, right? Like Percy kind of grew up a little bit at the end of the last season. And so now he gets to be the comic relief in a lot of scenes. I was really surprised about. So I mean, yeah, I thought they did like it's weird. It's perfect, but the show has like a 10 out of 10, and it's like 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah,
like it's got like perfect scores on every platform you can have because it's phenomenal. Like,
yeah, it's really it's astounding. We'll talk about Titmouse and his animation style later, because I want to talk about when they went full anime for the last 3 episodes. We were talking about the connections, and Dave was talking about how they were sprinkling some stuff in the first season, and really we didn't get much of the supernatural stuff until we got into the Briarwoods, when we got like the vampire-esque stuff. But
giant blue dragon, not supernatural enough for you?
Oh yeah, dragon. That's fantasy though.
That can shape change.
Yeah, that's true. But this year we went into gods and like all of that type of thing, and really the first. Like one of the first images you see in Vox Machina in the first season is a raven in the title sequence. And that has been there the whole time.
It's not by accident.
Not by accident. So I want to ask Hawk, like, did you notice that that they had been sort of hinting at this now? Like now that we see the matron of ravens.
Yeah. Once I saw it, the whole matron of ravens episode, and that you can, like I said, those thin gold connections and that with I had just associated with Vex and Vox, but you see like the Matron of Ravens episode expands it, and that those threads connect everybody.
Yeah.
And they played like a big part, and they're right there in the title sequence for everybody to see in the first
thing. I didn't know what they were doing with that when I first saw it. Like I knew the Ravens was important, but I didn't know what the lines were, and I love that that's the connection. Like it was such a cool thing. We also got to see some sphinxes this year, more dragons. Like all the dragons are amazing. They also, the voice cast this season,
oh my god,
like we saw the first season was amazing. Like
I mean, the first season we had David Tennant,
right?
Which always feels like, holy shit, David, like, oh, they got Doctor Who, that's so prestigious.
And Gina Torres,
and then you're like, and then this season
Gina Torres,
now we're gonna forget his name, the guy in the
Lance Reddick,
Ralph Ineson.
Yep.
Is that like so good? Yeah, Lance Reddick is phenomenal in as Thordak.
Yep. And then we got Kelly Hu as Anna Ripley. Oh, Hawk, you're gonna like her next season. And then
Stephanie Beatrice.
She was in the first season.
Kima.
Yeah,
was she?
Yeah, she was part of the council in the first season.
Yeah,
she was with Carrie Payton, who played the Sovereign.
Right,
who ended up melting in the first episode of the season.
Yeah,
that didn't happen. I'm pretty sure.
I don't remember
in the live show.
I like the cast just, but we did also end up getting some staples from Critical Role coming back. Like Wolf Friedle came back.
Oh my god, yes,
which was amazing. And I know him from obviously Boy Meets World and
Batman Beyond.
Right, he was my favorite Batman. Like I love Terry.
Kim Possible.
I don't know that.
Pretty sure he's in Kim Possible.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure because he's on that podcast with the girl who plays Kim Possible now. Mary Elizabeth McGlynn, right? Came back as what's her name? Why can't I remember her name?
Zara.
Zara. Yeah. Why did I say Kara?
There are a lot of like names.
Yeah.
So it's like Vex and Vax. And the show is The Legend of Vox Machina, right? Because it's Latin, it means voice machine. They're all voice actors.
Yeah. We got Troy Baker this season as well, right?
Oh, he was so perfect for the dad.
Yep.
He's so good at playing assholes.
Yeah. Fred Taschia score was the dad of.
Yes, he played Grog's dad.
No, he played Keyleth's dad.
Was it Keyless Dance?
Yeah. So
Yeah, we don't see Grog's dad.
No, that's right. It's the other guy. Oh, I can't remember his name, but he
Ralph
was
Innocent is Kevdak.
okay.
Henry Winkler. I don't know if we talked about that today.
Well, sort of. Yeah.
Henry Winkler as Pike's granddad.
Her great uncle, I think.
Uncle? I can't remember. And then
Uncle Willem. Yeah, Wilhelm.
where is it? I
Tony
lost it.
Plana?
No, but Tony Plata. Yes.
Really good.
Oh my god, I lost it. Where is he? Billy Boyd.
Oh,
Billy
yeah.
Boyd.
Garmelli.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man, we got to see the Fey realm, which I love, and they did it. Like they did such a good job out of it.
Also, the doctor from Heroes.
Oh, that was the Vixen Vax's dad, right?
Sendhill, I'm going to butcher his last name. Ramamurti?
Yeah, let's go with that.
He's so good.
Yeah,
He's Sondor.
he was
Archer.
so brutal as their
Yeah.
dad, and very good. So Titmouse, the Canadian animation company, really like they're known for so many different other cartoons like Lower Decks, and even Lower Decks. Each season, the animation has just gone up, but this one, the jump from season 1 to season 2, like season 1 was cinematic already, but season 2 was like, let's up it up to like
They flexed.
especially in season 10, the Grog battle, and then the last 2 episodes with the dragon battle. It was just like, I was telling Hawk, who had not seen the last 3 episodes immediately, obviously. I was just like, dude, you have to watch episode 10. Just watch it.
Yeah.
My jaw dropped. And like, was I wrong?
No, the words full anime kept going around, and I was like, okay. And I thought that meant a change in the actual animation style.
Oh,
But
no.
like, no, it was meant that they amped up the action to about 11.
I always think about what who's the director of Scott Pilgrim? Edgar Wright says about musicals, and when something hits a emotional peak, that's when people go into song. But for Scott Pilgrim, that's when they got into a video game, right?
Yeah.
In this, when they get into an emotional peak, they go full anime style, where everything just they fuck shit up.
Yes.
And the fact that they said that, the shot of Percy in shadows with the explosion behind him, like, gave me chills. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it, because I love that sequence, that whole sequence. And then Scanlan up in the air with his Bigby's hand. Oh, Scanlan's hand, I guess.
It's Scanlan's hand
in this, just rocking out. And that's all a bard wants, just to bardically inspire everyone, right, David? The whole time.
I don't know. You'll never catch me playing a bard.
That's true. That's fair. Yeah, what did you guys think of how well, like, or how updated how much it feels like much more money was spent on the animation in season 2.
What? It shouldn't surprise me, because I've had the success of the first season, and clearly, Critical Role has a really good relationship with Amazon, the studio who's paying for all this, studio production company, whatever it is. And it's clearly very popular. Otherwise, this season probably wouldn't look as good as it does. And I'm friggin' psyched, because we rarely get animation this good. Like, Titmouse has also done one of my other favorite animated shows, The Venture Bros.
Oh, yeah.
And The Venture Bros has some very particular animation. And it's crazy to me what the range of this studio is, right?
Mhm.
Because there's 3D animation in this, right? The dragons are all like 3D animated, so that they stand out, right?
And they're also at a different frame rate, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, like this. So like immediately you're like, this is like, even though like this, well, that's the behind me is Orthonax, the demon that inhabits Percy when it can. That wasn't done the same way, even though it's like a supernatural. I was like kind of surprised, but it's like, because the dragons are so special, right? Like, they get their whole thing, and it's not even like it's cheaper to 3D animate them and put them into this thing. Like, it probably costs basically the same amount.
Yeah, and it's definitely a style thing. Like, they didn't have
but I was not expecting, because there were 2 very long fight scenes. One was incredibly long, and I was just like, I can't believe like this is. I think somebody said it. We said it the other night. Where it's like this is like an episode of Dragon Ball.
Yes,
Like this fight.
I said
It's
that.
going. And just like, and it does make it kind of feel a little bit more like D&D, where you see the barbarian just getting the shit kicked out of him, because there's parts of the show that are like, oh, you can just like cut a guy's arm off, and you're like, that feels like real, right?
That
and like
is badass.
Whereas like then the Grog just like is getting like his head beat in. You're like, well, this guy has the strength of a Titan, which you know is a creature that bigger than a dragon. So how come it's not just crushing his skull? But you're like, whatever, man. He's super tough, I guess. Yeah, I was really excited. I didn't think we'd get that, you know, because I liked the fight scenes previously, as well.
They're very good.
Just it's such a treat,
and they always feel like there's jeopardy attached to them.
Oh yeah,
you know that it could go, one way or another. And that, like, I have expected at least one of them to die. You know, I know that doesn't happen.
It's weird, kind of knowing when people like should and shouldn't die.
Yeah,
but to be like, are they gonna like kill somebody right now? Are they gonna like maim somebody right now? Like, what is gonna happen? Like, even I've rewatched it and just being like, oh shit, like, are they gonna change this?
And I like that they're doing that. They're not afraid to change things, like, and introduce people earlier or tweak stuff. Just it's for the story, and they're the storytellers, right? And they know what's best for these characters. Yeah, the Dragon Ball thing was really because of Umbrasyl. The two like breaking it into 2 episodes. I was like, I did not expect that. I did not expect that at all. Hawk, did you have anything to say about the animation? I sort of cut you off there.
And just how it was great. Like I said, it felt fluid, it lively. Like I said, they were, as you mentioned, the dragons. They just felt like you were looking at something different from the rest of it, and yet with all the action sequences, it all blended in perfectly. It was great. So I can't really say much more.
Yeah, the mad props to, I don't know who does the music for this show. Neil Ackery. I have the soundtrack on my phone. I don't know why I said that. This season was phenomenal. Like, I loved the first season. I listened to it often, but this one was just like like the animation. They went up another level, and I did not expect it. They leveled up, I guess. Yeah.
They turned it up to 11.
They turned it up to 11. It just goes. Just turn up to 11. I don't know. I can't even think of what else we can talk about, because
it feels very special that they're basically able to get everybody like on the whole team, from the VO, which obviously would make sense because they're beautiful voice actors, but like, the music, the sound, the audio, the animation, just like across the board. Like, everybody's pushing as hard as they can to make this the best thing and better than it was before, which is such a rare thing to see in any medium, frankly. And it makes me worried that, like, how are they going to do more seasons of this? And then how are they going to do it again? Because they've already announced the fact that we're going to get the Mighty Nine.
Yeah. Which it's a separate but connected entity to... Hawk, you'll get there. Don't worry.
Okay.
You'll get there.
All right.
David, I know we talked about this off air before, and I like your take on this. This game is a D&D game, and it does, it does talk about certain entities that are in the D&D realm. But because this show is not associated with Wizards of the Coast or Dungeons and Dragons, they're slightly changing the names and stuff. What are your thoughts on how they're going to do this with, they've already started doing that with the
because the big bad, or
because of some bad guys that are coming forward, coming in the future.
The thing is, like, much like the way they don't really, I feel like they do say the Raven Queen at some point.
Think they did.
But part of me is like, does Wizards of the Coast own the Raven Queen? Do they own
these
Horde, the Stormlord, which is sort of a Greyhawk deity? Like, I guess they do, but it's one of those things. Is like, you can't own Thor. You can have Marvel's Thor is theirs, right? But like, is there anything to stop me from publishing something and says, "This is Cord the Stormlord, and he's a god in my setting, but he's not the same dude. Like, he's different, so I could call him that." You know what I mean? Like, is it? I don't know if it's parody or fair use or like what.
Because I wonder about like things like Stranger Things. They had Vecna on the show, but it wasn't really the Vecna from the game.
That's the thing is, I think they get Stranger Things gets away with it because
they're
totally
actually
they're
actually referencing the game itself, right? Because they play the characters in the show play D&D and that. So in this strange entity, they nicknamed it Vecna.
I guess like Vecna doesn't call himself Vecna, right? I don't think so, right?
In the show, no. It's that the character and they just
whatever.
they just call themselves by their name or their number or whatever. Where and they also like Mind Flayer. That's owned by Wizards of the Coast.
Mm-hmm.
No one else can use Illithids. No one else can use Demogorgon, which is the demon prince of madness. I think in the Forgotten Realm in the abyss. The chaotic evil. Excuse me for a second. Let me go get my 2 Demogorgon minis.
I have one over there.
Yeah. So I think because what's interesting to me is that the Everlight is based on Sarenrae, which is a Paizao, like a Pathfinder deity. So, and Paizao is a lot less judicious about that kind of stuff. It seems they're much more open. But they just seem to be calling them by like these other names. But I think that's fair. I think it kind of gives it more verisimilitude, which is a big word people who run D&D games use. To make something feel real. That's what verisimilitude is how real something feels. Like we don't call the God of Abraham like John. Right? Like we call like there's Jesus, not his name, by the way. Christ, also not his name. So these are like Jesus, Joshua, and Christ was a title applied to him. So like Buddha is a title. Buddha was not, right? That's Siddharth, right? Somehow played by Keanu Reeves at one point. So calling them by their titles. Yeah, I think that's a movie. I'm pretty sure that's a movie. Calling them by the title kind of actually makes it feel more real. Right? Like nobody calls to call her Sarenrae. You're like, but Sarenrae is like a name. It's not like the title of it. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of weird. At most, I guess you could be like, well, there's like Yahweh, and that's like.
Jehovah.
But that's like the name of the deity, right? Like that's what the deity is called. There's not like another name, and you could try and apply that to a bunch like Zeus, right? Well, like Zeus is his name, and it's like, but what's the other name? There isn't one. It's just Zeus, right? So it's sort of weird to have like, yeah, sure, or Jupiter or what, right? If you want to go, so it just makes sense to just like call them by this other thing that's not copywritten, that doesn't step on any toes. It would be cool if they could just like be like, well, we'll call it, but at the same time, you really don't want to risk getting sued. And you also don't want to have to shell out any money for licensing something that you don't have to.
Yeah.
So, and everything else other than that one thing and like 2 other things related to it that are in Critical Role that are like, there's the deities. But like they've already changed those names, so I think they're going to change that name as well. Because I kept thinking Craven Edge was something like it was like Black Razor or something like that, but it's not. It was always Craven Edge, and that's something Mercer created. I kept thinking it was a different sword that was owned by D&D, but it's not. So, like they felt that like the belt Grog found is called the Belt of Dwarvenkind. That's why he grew a beard. Because if you don't have a beard, you have like you roll a D100 and every morning, and if you roll a certain thing, you grow a beard. That's part of it.
I want that.
But they didn't like you can, and it looks like a Belt of Dwarvenkind, right? So like, but they never call it anything, right?
Yeah, no.
They never call anything, and you'll never hear. Oh, it's a +1 sword. You'll never hear that, right?
Would you like to go to the shop and get some +1 items?
A ring of protection +1, stuff like that. I doubt we'll ever ever hear that kind of, because it also, that's meta, right? It feels weird.
Yeah.
Even when I give my players stuff, I only call the things by the title. I like naming stuff. Like, I think it makes sense for things to be named. You know, if you put on a suit of armor and it's like magical, it probably has a name. Because why wouldn't it? You know, like Excalibur, like that's a sword. That's a special sword. It's magical. You know, like magic. Thor's hammer has a name.
What was the sword called in this? What was it?
Myth Carver?
Myth Carver. Yeah.
Myth Carver.
Yeah.
There's some other swords we hopefully see too. I don't think did Percy get the sword of dragon slaying?
No.
It's weird because like he never really used it despite the amount of times they fought dragons, but that's because he has guns.
I feel like they talked about it though.
They might have found it in the shop, right?
Yeah, because at least two people in this like search for vestiges and that didn't like actually get a vestige in that. Caliph and that she didn't get any vestige in that, but she did pass her trial and basically leveled up that way. I'm trying to think who else.
Well,
her and Percy, they didn't get a vestige.
Grog has a vestige. He's the Titanstone Knuckles.
Yeah, I know Grog did, but
I don't want to spoil because I know, but like
everyone but Keyleth and Percy has a vestige.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bow, armor, gloves,
Vox
and
got
sword.
Did Pike start with the armor?
Oh, I forgot about Pike. No,
I'm pretty sure she's got to get Pike. Don't worry. I mean, I'm very interested because that's actually a very explicit D&D setting where they get her vestige. Spoiler, she'll get a vestige. Probably. I don't see why she wouldn't.
They all get one. So.
It would be weird if not everybody got the one ring and like everybody gets a magic item.
But you, Percy, not you.
Not you. You took up too much this season 1.
I mean, I always thought his was like the lamest, but his is used to big effects a lot of times when they played. So,
yeah. Oh, was there anything you disliked about season 2?
Everything I liked about it.
I liked everything. There's one thing I have an issue with. That's it. And I had the same issue in season 1. Hawk, anything?
I can think of in that. Like I said, like it was, the animation was great. Story was great. I love the growth of each character. The fact that like they're the same characters in that, and yet they're different by the end of the season. Like there's I really enjoyed the finale in that and how that turned out, and that it was like
we'll talk about the finale in a second. The only thing I have an issue with is we get 3 episodes every week, so you're done in 4 weeks. So I'm not. I know people love binging, seeing everything, but I like having things spread out over like.
Absolutely not.
Like, that's just me. I like coming back. Like I like talking to people about. Oh, what do you think? I already know what happens, but I like hearing what people talk. Like I like the discussion around things. I know when I was younger and I really wanted to get games on like day one, it was because I wanted to be part of the discussion. I liked talking to people about, what did you find? What happened here? Like I loved Lost because every week we would be like, oh shit, what happened here? What do you think is going to happen? I was part of that 4, 8, 12 fun thing, whatever, the Lost numbers. I was part of that group and I don't remember what it was called. And we used to discuss it all the time. It was the one forum that I did in like the 2000s. So that's the only thing I like having time to think and be like, I wonder what happens next.
Well, I think partly because it's only like a 22-minute or 25-minute show. It kind of, it's like we get, 3 1-hour shows.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's kind of more like it. So I think that's part of the reason why they decided to release it in that way. And also, they probably don't want to constantly be fighting other things.
That's fair.
Right? Because like that's the problem with streaming is that like if people don't finish your show, they're probably not going to watch the next season.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't watch the next season, you're not going to get a season after that. So it's like we need to get everything out as quickly as possible so that it all gets gobbled up so that they want more when it does come out.
Yeah,
because they're not the Mandalorian. You know, like it's
no,
clearly,
they don't have that installed audience, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I can see it.
I mean, they have an installed audience. I mean, they do. They have they brought their own audience,
but not that they're they're trying to get people like me into watching it, and that who aren't there like at the Critical Role or the YouTube or the tabletop gaming. And
I can speak to my brother Harcroft and Mrs. Harcroft, where they watch. She loves this show.
Yeah.
And he's telling her about the live stream, and she's like, "Well, I kind of want to watch that now." And it's like, you can't. It's gonna take you forever to finish that, but you could sit and enjoy this again and again and again.
I could totally understand having it like for numbers, especially in keeping people's interest, because like if you look at things like Paper Girls, like it was a phenomenal show. They released it week by week, but it also ran into other shows that were just way more popular, so people sort of dropped off.
I imagine Paper Girls is actually a lot cheaper to make.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Like there was not like this high level of special effects that they needed to do or anything in that. Most of it was just an intimate portrait of 4 teenage girls in a really weird situation.
Yeah.
The Legend of Vox Machina has to be prohibitively expensive for this quality of animation.
Yeah, and the amount of voice actors they have that just shows up.
Oh god, Carrie
The
Page
biggest thing they're saving on is probably writing, but at the same time they're probably spending just as long as other shows for writing, but
because
they just have source material already. So if you could spend, that's why it's so good, is like, well, if we're going to spend 40 hours over 6 weeks writing the show, but we just have to condense what's already written versus creating something new, right? Like when they sit down to create a season of It's Always Sunny or something, like that takes weeks, and it's arduous, and it's 14-hour days trying to push stories, whereas this is just like, well, we can do that, but we've already got the thing, so it's just
and they're taking great considerations with the medium that they're going into, and that I think we've had the same debates in that when we're talking about The Last of Us versus like the video game and that, and like the like 60 plus hours you can put into that game, right?
Yeah.
And all the side questing and everything, and all the versus like the medium of television and that, where it's like week by week by week they want you to get from one place to the next.
This is why people rail against bad adaptations, because these shows set the bar of quality, and with good reason, because not only is this achievable, but you have a baseline of a thing already. Why would you make it not as good as that thing? I know I always bring up Matt Colville. Even every stream, I'll bring up Matt, because when he talks about when he worked at Turtle Rock, they had this, I don't know if it's a theory or what, but it's like you plus everything. When it comes across your desk, you plus it. So you take whatever it is and you add something to it to make it bigger, better in some way. It's better than when it left your desk, right? And that's what should happen when any of these adaptations come across your desk. It shouldn't be, well, let's start over. Well, why are you starting over? It's an adaptation. So just take what works and then plus.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what The Last of Us does. That's what this has done. Like, that's what The Legend of Vox Machina had done. That's what, when you watch the original Hitman movie, you're like, what the fuck? Yeah. This has nothing to, what the fuck?
Or Street Fighter?
Or Street Fighter, or any bad
Mortal Kombat,
adaptation.
the most recent one.
Yeah, I mean, Mortal Kombat was literally, they went, what if we take Mortal Kombat, but we'll remove the tournament?
Mortal Kombat.
Like add in some way, and it doesn't have to be like Mortal Kombat Annihilation, where they turn into monsters from Mortal Kombat 3 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
It's just like add a little something to make it a little bit better.
Mm-hmm. So this season, we really end on the middle half of the Chroma Conclave storyline. Yeah. This is really more for Hawk. What do you want to see in the in the third season? We ended on Umbrasyl dying, and we saw Anna Ripley and Hordak talking about
Thordak. Hordak is a yeah.
Really talking about what's to come, right? Or how things are gonna move forward. What do you think is gonna happen in the third season? What do you want to see?
Well, obviously, as like a satisfying conclusion to like the end of the Chroma Conclave.
Do you want Empire Strikes Back? Is that where you're gonna go?
Is that where we're going with this?
No.
So far, I'm almost just happy not knowing in that and taking what they're giving me, because like I've just enjoyed being an unspoiled audience member to this journey.
Yeah.
So wherever it goes, with more of the vestiges and that, more bonding of the core crew, and more backstory in that, because I'm quite loving it in that. Like finding out like everything about Grog and the Horde was just great.
Yeah.
It's got to be really cool to experience this for the first time at this level of quality. Because for me, listening to this show live stream back when they were using worse quality mics than what I have.
Yeah. Oh man, the amount of peaking and like crackle that they have. Oh, you can hear it live.
Audio
still.
quality they had for like the almost the entire first campaign was really bad. Second campaign is when it really took off, but oh man, yeah. It's great to just like wait. I don't need subtitles. I can just hear what they're saying. They're understandable. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really quite good. Oh, there was a question I was gonna ask Dave, and I totally spaced out on it now.
I mean, I can't wait for either. I don't know what the last episode of the Legend of Vox Machina series will be. I don't know if it'll be like an epilogue.
Mm-hmm.
Because they've gone back and like played with these characters again for like epilogue type stuff, which is great. Or these characters, whoever's still alive, if any of them.
You're breaking Hawk's heart.
I mean,
well, I mean, that's my big question. Is like,
how many times? How many times do you come out the ringer? Right, like,
yeah.
Like every time, like the end of season 1 or the halfway point of season 1, you're like, oh, okay, we just lost a character. Partway through the season, you're like, oh, we just lost a fucking character, because that happens in D&D, and they don't get brought back.
Yeah.
But because if this wasn't based on 5th edition, if they were still playing Pathfinder like they originally did, I don't know if those characters would have come back to life. It's a lot more difficult. There's no revivify at 3rd level in Pathfinder. There's you're not 5th level, they're dead.
Yeah.
So
could you imagine they had to introduce a new character randomly in the middle of a season?
Yeah, so Laura could come back and play, and then you don't have the twins anymore. You're like, ooh. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if you know this, Hawk. The reason they played twins is because they share a birthday.
Okay.
Liam O'Brien and Laura Bailey share a birthday. Liam's older.
Yeah.
And the original game they played was a one-shot for Liam's birthday. And when they were creating characters, they found out that they shared a birthday. They're like, oh, we should play twins. And there it is.
That's amazing.
So, isn't that cute?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
my
cool.
only question is like, this is like 3 seasons and done, right?
5.
5. They're doing 5 seasons of this?
So I originally thought they were going to do 3, but when they announced the Mighty Nine, apparently they're doing 5 Mighty Nine, 5 of this.
Yeah.
So what I think might happen is we're going to get maybe another season of this, and then a Mighty Nine, or maybe we'll get Mighty Nine and then the next season of this.
Like we have to figure out how long they've been in pre-production for Mighty Nine, because the pre-production for this was at least 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
So we might not even get Mighty Nine until like 2025.
It's pretty impressive that we got, because it's only been a year since the first season.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like that's really impressive to get a season of this length, right? Like,
well, they were planning on getting this show out earlier, but then COVID happened, so they had to delay it a year or 2. I can't even remember how long it was. I guess 2 years. I think it was supposed to come out in 2020, right?
What, the original? No, not 2020. Really?
Is it? I don't remember how long ago I kickstarted.
I'm pretty sure it was maybe 2021 at the earliest.
Yeah, maybe.
But, I don't know. I'm just super excited. It's probably one of the best things you can stream.
It is one of my favorite things to watch, and
ever.
Yeah, no, it really is. I've watched this season twice already since it's finished. Like they're not long. I could finish it.
No, they're not.
4
That's
hours.
true. Yeah.
Like it's longer to listen to the campaign.
Could you imagine being like 16
Oh, and just getting into this now?
Right. Well, because like you're like 12 is like kind of too young for this, right?
It's
like,
very too young.
Yeah.
I probably would have watched this at 12.
Yeah,
But 16 is like an age where you're like, this is probably fine for a 16-year-old. Like, there's a lot of swearing. There's a little bit, like, but realistically, like, it's a cartoon.
At 16, like, you know, your conversations with your friends are probably a lot worse going on.
Yeah. You've seen a lot worse stuff than I'd seen Predator and Alien long before.
Oh, yeah, same.
I was 6, you know.
I saw Alien before I was 10.
You know, Predators just has a movie where people are inside out. So what's the problem?
It's funny. Look at it.
Yeah.
I remember how pissed off I was at 12 years old that I wasn't allowed to go see RoboCop in the theaters.
I was that angry when I couldn't see Terminator 2 in theaters.
Really?
Because I was not old enough.
Yeah, you weren't old enough.
I was only
Conversely, my mom never found out my sisters when I was about 11 took me to see Deuce Bigelow. Because she explicitly said, don't take your brother to that movie. And then for some reason, we did go. I've never understood why. I don't know if it's because I don't know if that was pre-Austin Powers or what, but like, that's not a kid's movie. No. It's about a male gigolo.
It's about a male.
And I didn't know what that meant when I was that age, so... I remember being
1999.
Like 8.
Austin Powers was way before then.
Okay, so I was 11. I remember being 8 and seeing Pretty Woman for the first time. And as many of the other people in my high school will tell you, I have an attractive sister. Because Springer's sister was something that was often shouted through the halls of my high school. And so when I was 8, I went to my sister after seeing Pretty Woman, and I'm like, I called her a prostitute because I just thought that meant like, you know, a pretty girl at 8 years old. And my mom was like, you need to apologize to your sister. I'm like, I don't see what I did wrong.
That movie really did give off a bad message.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful story.
Now I'm older and I'm like, I don't want to talk about this anymore.
That's amazing.
But you know, I mean, 8-year-olds are pretty dumb. So that's my defense. Also, nobody explained what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's not my fault.
Yeah.
Maybe don't show an 8-year-old Pretty Woman.
I will say that this and Stranger Things have really opened up the world of D&D to people. Like it's just everywhere now. It's crazy.
As Wizards of the Coast tries to sink their talons deeper and deeper into the money pot, and everyone goes, all like the core players are like, no. I don't want to spend more money on your product.
Let's cancel all our D&D Beyond subscriptions. Don't forget to do that, Dave.
Oh, it's done. How long ago did I talk about moving to Pathfinder? Like, it like 2021. I wasn't sure
if it would auto renew in May when
it did. Yeah, and I missed the first cancel date, but it's fine.
D&D Beyond is a online like I almost said repository of Dungeons and Dragons. Like
this is I could just do a whole podcast on explaining this. It's sort of complicated.
Yeah, they also have tools for people to create characters or play online, so you can roll dice and stuff. It's actually very useful.
You can use it for free. The basic rules for Dungeons and Dragons are free. But unlike conversely, the rules for Pathfinder First and Second Edition are totally free. All of it. All the new source books that just came out last week, that's online and it's free. Yep. You don't have to buy those books. The adventures are not free. But that's because that's how Paizo used to make their money. Paizo would write adventures. Paizo made the Dungeon and Dragon magazine back for 2nd and 3rd edition. And then 4th edition came around and Wizards said, we own those IPs. You don't make them anymore. And we're going to basically what they were trying to do now. And Paizo went, well, we need to keep selling adventures. That's how we make money. We'll make our own system. And so that was the first edition of Pathfinder. And then they just sold their adventures.
I like the idea of Pathfinder from what you've explained to me. So I'm looking forward to eventually moving over to that system if we do that.
I mean, there's so many great systems. We could play Dragon Age. The Age system is great from Green Ronin. You know, Cypher system from Monty Cook Games.
Wait, is Dragon Age like the video game Dragon Age? Oh, I didn't realize that was a...
It uses 3d6, and if you roll doubles, you have a different colored die. It's the dragon die, and if you roll doubles, you get stunt points. It's like a crit. So you can do like, I cast magic. Oh, that spell was free, or I just cast another spell, or or I cut off a guy's head. Stuff like that. It's really neat.
Hey, Hawk, have we intrigued you enough to try a D&D game, a one shot maybe one day?
Oh, well, though Brittany mentioned, a one shot. I don't know. Brittany, Brittany being into Shadowrun has kind of, made me think maybe I can get the itch and get into that.
What, Shadowrun?
Yeah.
Well, I guess Steve can run us a Shadowrun game then, because I'm not running Shadowrun.
I remember I bought the original like years back in high school. The original campaign book, and
Yeah.
and it was like, this is so cool, and it's like I couldn't find anybody to play.
Shadowrun is way more complicated, which is not a bad thing. It that could be good, but it's not a system I know.
That was like Cyberpunk when I was a kid. I thought it was so cool, and then no one would play it with me.
I mean, Shadowrun is Cyberpunk with fantasy. It's literally, that's what it is. It's a futuristic city, and there's orcs and fairies and elves and stuff like that, but there's also like corporations,
cybernetic upgrades.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is Shadowrun has everything. Also, you guys, there's a Shadowrun video games, right?
Yep. Yeah, I have them.
It's supposed to be very good, actually.
I've not. They're on my Steam library. I haven't played, or maybe they're my GOG.
I mean, I have them too because of a Humble Bundle, I think, and I just haven't played them.
Yeah, same. I guess last thing. Is there anything we can suggest to people if they do want to get into D&D or even Critical Role type stuff? Anyway, I think the anime series is a good way to start. If you do want to go that way. They're for kids. If you have kids that want to get into it, they're the Young Adventurers guides that Jim Zub made are phenomenal. I have those for my kids. Actually, Stu bought them for Kateri for one of her birthdays, so we read it every so often. There's also a bunch of young dungeon novels that have recently come out, and those are all very, very well written, surprisingly. And you often get tie-ins that are for kids and they're sort of garbage. These ones are actually well written, so I'm happy about that.
If you want novels, there are a buttload of Forgotten Realms novels. That is my favorite D&D setting that isn't my own. And there's tons that span like 300 years. So whenever you want to get into, obviously the Dritz Jordan books have been very popular, and you can kind of jump into those at any time. There's actually finally the third one is coming out later this year, from the current trilogy that I've really enjoyed, called Lolth's Champion, from R. Salvatore. There's actually other Dungeons and Dragons movies. The first one being absolutely terrible. The second one being like one of those bad good movies, especially if you watch it with the commentary. That's called Dungeons and Dragons: Wrath of the Dragon God. If you want a really bad movie, you can watch Mazes and Monsters, which is basically the
is that the Tom Hanks one?
Yeah,
Tom Hanks, and it's basically promoting the Satanic Panic. And like schizophrenia. It's basically it's not a good message, but for some reason, if you wanted to watch it, I would say if you wanted to get into D&D the way I did, have your uncle show you 1985's Legend, starring Tom Cruise and Tim Curry, when you're 6 years old.
Wow.
I was thinking about showing Kateri it, but
no,
I feel like it's gonna be scary.
It's pretty scary.
Yeah.
And then when you're 8 or 9, have your oldest brother play 2nd edition D&D with you and have it make no sense, but play a Minotaur named Nextor.
There are some younger adventures, like there's
there's tons of stuff.
My Little Pony campaign that they've come out. There's
Friendship is Magic.
There's a bunch of actual WotC ones that they've released for free, but I can't remember. They're with like a little goblin guy. I don't remember what his name is.
There's a whole bunch of actual like D&D, or TTRPG for kids. My best bud runs them. He's also made his own like custom ones for it. There's Tiny Dungeon, which is still a D20 game. So that it's like very rules light. Uses a D20, has I think 3 or 4 characteristics that you base things on. That's a pretty popular one. It's free. The thing people don't realize is that you can get a lot of this stuff for free, which is rare when it comes to entertaining children.
Yeah, and if you don't want to do the game and you just want to read stuff, there's a bunch of comics that are D&D related. The Adventure Zone is a great comic book. Rick and Morty versus Dungeons and Dragons was actually really good.
Or all the ones that Jim Zub wrote for the current edition of D&D, which
annuals,
are all but the last 2 trades are collected in Days of Endless Adventure. There's other D&D comics as well. B. Dave Walters wrote a D&D comic that's very good. If you want like something really dark, Die by Kieran Gillen is a very TTRPG. It is a TTRPG. That one's really good. If you prefer sci-fi stuff, and if you've made it this far, The Expanse was originally supposed to be an RPG that got turned into books, that got turned into a series, that finally got turned into an RPG.
Yeah.
So that's one I've actually wanted.
I'd heard rumblings that it had kind of finally made it to the RPG, tabletop format. So
yeah,
that might be it. That might be,
and
good.
that's turning into a comic book too. That makes sense.
And if you want something in between, there's Star Trek RPGs, there's Dune RPGs, there's Star Wars RPGs. There's
I almost bought the Star Trek one because I thought Hawk would very much enjoy it. I almost bought it. There's another comic book that's really good is Rat Queens. I'm pretty sure Lauren's.
Rat Queens is very good. Yeah, yeah.
So.
Trying to think. Oh, Skull Kickers, baby, more Jim's Up goodness. Yeah. Conan the Barbarian, which
Jim's
kind
Up
of
is Canadian, so that's why we really like.
Yeah, we love him. We love him so much.
He was also on the show a year or two ago.
A while ago now.
Yeah. Anyway,
he's great.
Yeah, follow him on Instagram, JZub.
And Ed Greenwood, because he just started a Patreon. He created the Forgotten Realms, and he wrote a bunch of novels, and he's a librarian. So.
Man, if you haven't listened to our episode,
the history in D&D actually involves quite a few Canadians, despite being based out of Minnesota, Wisconsin, originally. Yeah,
I don't know.
Lake Geneva.
Anyway, I'm glad you guys stuck around till the end. If you are still listening, yeah, thank you. That's it. Go watch Vox Machina if you haven't seen it. And if you haven't seen it, go watch it again because it's that damn good. You can catch all their replays on their website or on their YouTube. Twitch, they stream on Twitch every Thursday still, I think.
Yep.
At Critical Role. They're great. Follow them all on Twitter. They also have Twitters.
I mean, better yet, come watch us play D&D.
We play on Wednesdays, so you come see us. Maybe our bard won't forget that he has.
You know what? If
stuff.
You haven't seen it, go to geekswithkids.ca and go watch the backlog of.
It's all there. It's also on YouTube. We have a playlist that plays all of the ones that we've recorded live. At least there was a number of episodes we didn't end up putting online.
They were bad.
No, it's just we weren't recording at that time. We were just playing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Anyway.
They were probably bad.
Yeah. Well, that's when we randomly killed people and just sort of left them on the side of the road.
Murder hobos.
We'll be back in 2 weeks talking about something. I don't know yet. Maybe we'll do a Returnal.
Is it Mandalorian season yet in 2 weeks?
March.
The 27th. When's the Mandalorian out?
March 1st.
Oh, we're 1 day or 2 days behind.
We might, if it's that close, we might delay and just do a reaction to the first episode. And I sort of want to do that.
I'm excited for that.
I think we should just do a reaction anyways. Regardless of the episode.
Live show.
I do like our live. So I've been recording all of our reactions for Last of Us, and I will edit us crying. By us,
just me going
and Brittany, and then David just going, "Why are they crying again?"
And then they should do this in the next scene to make you hurt even more.
And then Hawk's there like, "Oh my god, they're still crying."
Hey, Bill and Frank got me, man.
No, got everyone, man. Maybe not David. I don't know.
Not me.
He has a heart of stone. Anyway, thank you guys for coming on and talking about Vox Machina and D&D. Thank you out there for listening. We will see you guys in a couple weeks. Goodbye.
It's over.
Bye.
It's over.
It's over.
Well, that's it for us this week on Geeks with Kids. If you want to get a hold of us, you can send us an email at podcast@geekswithkids.ca. And don't forget to like us on Facebook at facebook.com/geekswithkids. Follow us on Twitter at geekswithkidscn. Check out our pics on Instagram at geekswithkids. And you can find all of this good stuff on our website at www.geekswithkids.ca. So if you like what you hear, why don't you hit that subscribe button and leave us a comment. This podcast can be found on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, YouTube, and your favorite podcasting app. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.